Hello and welcome, a massive welcome to our show this week. And for those of you that are observant, you will notice that Bec's chair here is empty.
And I'm all the way over here.
How did you do that, Bec?
It's magical, isn't it? Yeah, so a show with a difference this week because I'm actually with my partner in Birmingham, but we didn't want to miss out on doing the show, so we thought we'd have a go at doing it this way. So it looks like we're both Deborah Simmons, but actually I'm Bec.
Oh, are you me? Oh yeah, there is two Deborah Simmons. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we thought we'd try and record the show this way and have a conversation back and forward. So let's see how it goes, shall we?
Absolutely. So as always, before we get into the show, we've got a great question and a great topic this week. You know, we always do, obviously.
Yeah.
Question this week is, how do I not ruin a relationship? And that was shamelessly stolen from a video that someone brought to our attention, said, oh, you should watch this because this is, you know, really talking the way that you talk. And it was a Russell Brand video, and he did that topic, and we thought that would be absolutely great. It would be a great question. So how do I not ruin a relationship? Mine and Bec's take on that. And then our topic is knowing yourself. Yeah, we've been having a bit of a deep dive into that this week. So, but before we dive into those,
yeah,
as always, we like to tell you that about some stuff that's going on for us, and I want to tell you about our 30 days of self-love, which is a course that is available on our website, and we've been having some great feedback about that, and all these subjects that we've been talking about, knowing yourself and our spiritual nature, being human, balance, all of those things are all included in that course, all about self-love. Because I know for me, and I know I can speak for Bec on this because she said it many times, and if she's changed her mind, she's fully allowed to jump in and say so. I know it was huge for Bec when she realised that actually getting to know and love herself was key in turning her life around too. So we would love you to join us for our 30 days of self-love.
Yeah, it's a great 30 days actually. When often when Deb and I put these courses together, we kind of end up joining in when they first go out live as well. And every time we do that, I think we're always both a bit surprised. Oh, this is really key, isn't it? Oh, this is a really good conversation. What we're saying here is really helpful. And I think that's, for me, that's very much what self-love is actually, is hearing your own voice and knowing who you are. Which brings me nicely to, I wanted to talk a bit about the book as well, because we've mentioned this a couple of times recently, but we've got a little stock of our books, which we often have in, so that when we do retreats and our conference and stuff, we've got books to sell and share with people. But obviously in the last sort of 6-7 months, we've hardly been with people. So we've got a whole stock of books that we'd really love to share. So if the book, have you got a copy there, Deb? Actually, I was going to talk about the Dare to Be You book, because the name of our business, Dare to Be You, is also the name of one of our books. Magical. It's like teamwork. And Dare to Be You for me is the other way of saying self-love, really.
Yeah.
Being who we are, it's being in touch with that place within us that makes a lot of sense to who we are. And interesting, I was just having that very conversation with somebody before we were recording this, about just being honest with yourself, being true to yourself in those moments that might seem really small sometimes, those really kind of, those day-to-day moments, and knowing who you are and being grounded in that and being able to connect with that is life-changing. And it sounds like it's something that's almost out of our reach at times. But what I love about the Dare to Be You book, and the reason I wanted to talk about it, is because the book itself is done in such a really simple and easy to digest way. It's broken down into, in fact, they're not even called chapters, they're called days, because the recommendation is that you just read a little bit every day. And it's surprisingly powerful. So yeah, would highly recommend getting a copy of that. And we've got a few in stock. So if you don't want to order off Amazon and you want to come direct to us, we'll even, Deb will even sign it for you. and we can post it out. So yeah, let us know if you'd like a copy, because
yeah, absolutely, reach out if you want a copy, a signed copy of the book. Yes, because like you say, interestingly, we did book club recently, not long finished, and we had the Dare to Be You book. We used the Dare to Be You book, and interestingly, I will share this. When Bec suggested, I was really interested in the book club. Bec and I are both bookies, and we love, you know, bookies, is that true? But anyway, book people, we love books. And I was really, really keen to do a book club. And when Bec suggested that we do the Dare to Be You book, I was a little bit like, oh gosh, you know, because I hadn't read it for a while. But actually then when we did the book club, I was, again, like you say, it was reading my own words back. I was really surprised at what was in there. And so, yeah, absolutely recommend it. So moving on with today's show and our question, how do I not ruin a relationship?
Such a good question, isn't it?
Such a good question. Because I know there's I hear it all the time. People are like, oh, I can't do that relationship thing, you know, relationships are so hard. Or I hear of people who, like, my particular thing was that I stayed in a relationship. It was a total wreck or ruin the relationship, but I stayed there and stayed there and stayed there and got more and more miserable by the moment while I was in that relationship. And everything we do, the whole Dare to Be You, everything we base our business on, came about because of what I learned about myself, how I got to know myself once I got out of that relationship, and once I got to see that the way not to ruin a relationship and not to ruin your own life really is to know yourself. So we're going to move on to that topic in a bit. So if we come back to the how not to ruin a relationship, because relationships feel as if they are about two people, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone else, there's someone else involved there. And what I really, really see is one of the key things here is learning to take responsibility for yourself. Because I know for me, and I can still see it now when I have ups and downs in my life, what it feels like is, oh, that person shouldn't do that. They shouldn't say that. They shouldn't be like that. They shouldn't think that way. They shouldn't be that way. And the reason that I feel those ways is because what happens is I am blaming what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. I'm blaming that on how I think that's what it's making me feel a certain way. And that, to me, that is so key in everything that we share, the realization that we live in the feeling of our thinking. We don't feel what's going on for someone else. We feel our own thinking. We feel what we're thinking about that. So.
Yeah, and I think like it's perfect that we started with the self-love and the Dare to Be You, because really that is, and that's what I'm hearing you're saying there, is that when we know who we are, when we connect to that self-love, when we dare to be who we are, we can't ruin any relationship from there, because the first relationship is grounded. The first relationship, which is with ourselves ultimately, is in place, is secure, is full of love and understanding and compassion. And the more that we have that relationship and build that relationship with ourselves, the more that just, it can't help but overflow into our relationships with other people. And it is, you know, I've seen it time and again. I've seen relationships that you might term ruined, and I've seen relationships that are the opposite of that. And what I see is that the person who is turning up in that relationship, if they're grounded and they know who they are and they understand how they work, and it fascinates me because it isn't even an 100% thing. Like, I have my moments in my relationship where I'm not grounded and I don't love myself and I'm insecure, and it doesn't ruin my relationship, because somehow when we are those things most of the time, when we understand this far more than we miss out on this, it's surprising how forgiving we can be. because it, you know, you look out at the world and think, with how little we do know ourselves, with how little we understand how we work, it's surprising that there are so many relationships in the world. It's surprising that there are so many people that are married for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have to be, to my mind, it's not even a, you know, a practice that you have to make yourself be okay all the time, or make yourself get over your insecurity. Just genuinely get to know who you are, genuinely explore how you work and how you can see through those insecurities, how it is that by loving and understanding yourself, somehow that has an incredible impact on the relationships around you. And the more that I turn up and do that, the more often I turn up and do that, the less my relationship feels like it's on the rocks. Because I've had that. I've been in that space where my, you know, and not even on the rocks, it had full on crashed into them. You know, and everyone was bailing out from the ship kind of thing. I've been there. So I know what it can look like when the relationship is in that stage.
Yeah.
And I know those moments where, because I still have them, I still have those moments where I'm feeling insecure and it looks like it's the other person's fault and they need to be told, or, you know, the relationship needs fixing, or whatever it might be. But when I come back and remember that that can only be my internal story, and nothing on the outside needs to be different for me to come back to my grounding, that's how a relationship is saved. That's how a relationship finds its feet again.
Absolutely. For me, what I've really started to see is that when we begin to know who we are, what we start to see for ourselves is when we genuinely want the best for ourselves out in the world, that is absolutely going to be what is best for anyone we are in a relationship with. And it's really easy. I know we talk about this pendulum swing thing, and it's really easy when we hear those words, oh yeah, I want the best for me. And I think the world that we live in very often says, oh, so the best for you means you tread on other people or stand on them or take from them. And what I've really started to see with this understanding of who we truly are, wanting the best for ourselves is the same as wanting the best for someone else. It's like the two things can't, they're one and the same. They exist side by side beautifully. And if we think that wanting the best for ourselves is about putting someone else down or walking over someone else or that kind of thing, we've misunderstood what wanting the best for ourselves is. And that to me is then come back again, exactly what you're talking about, to our own grounding, to an understanding of who we are. When I have those moments of thinking my partner or someone else is in the wrong and they should be doing something different, or something like, I want it to be different, I realise that I've fallen into a misunderstanding. And then it is always about coming back to, okay, so what do I know is true? What do I know to be true about who I am and about who that other person is? And it's really, really interesting because me and my partner, we had just a little bit of a disagreement a couple of days ago. And it was really interesting because I definitely went into a place of, oh gosh, this is him, you know, he shouldn't be doing that. And I was stuck in it a little bit, but I definitely had that step back, and I was watching what was going on for me. And I actually started to get a bit of a headache at one point. And what I realized, what I suddenly saw was, oh, when I am holding myself in this place of feeling out of sorts with him, I start to not feel great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely, my body cannot feel the whole and healthiness that it is. I can't connect with that truth about me, that wholeness, that healthiness, that vitality. I can't connect properly whilst I'm holding on to this prickly thing, if you like.
Yeah.
And I can see that in the past I would have wanted him to do something different so that it wouldn't have looked like, oh, I need to let go of something, I need to move into a different place. That would have been, no, this is him, he did this thing and he should do something different. What I really, really saw, it was like, it reminds me of the princess and the pea. You know, we can't get comfortable in bed if there's a pea in our bed, kind of thing. We can feel this thing. And I noticed I was feeling that, and it's like, this isn't anything to do with him whatsoever. He can feel what he feels, he can do what he wants to do with this, but I have to get back to, I know we've been talking a lot lately about coming from love, not fear. It was like, I need to get back to a place of coming from love because I want the best for me. And this prickly situation that's going on isn't the best for me. And it's like, it's not my business what he does with that. But I wanted, you know, I could really see, if I move back into my okayness, my grounding, that place you were talking about, and it's amazing what happens from there. It's just it's so, again and again and again, I see that relationships work the exact opposite way to how it appears they work.
Definitely.
When I sort the pee out in my bed,
that's what it is, isn't it? And I think we can have it very convincingly set up that it shouldn't have to be me. And I know we've actually done a whole YouTube question on why should it have to be me? Why should I be the one to do something different? And it is that there's just ever such a slight difference between giving in and trusting and moving forward. Like it's really, it's almost too difficult to put into words. It's an experience you've got to have, and I think that will lead us probably into the topic of know yourself, because it is about that. It's knowing when it is and what it is you'll do, where you're coming from. It's the place inside that you're coming from that makes that difference. When you turn up from, I don't need to hold on to this prickly, uncomfortable feeling, versus, oh, I'm just going to let him walk all over me. And it's just, those two things are just entirely different, and yet we can ever so slightly move from one to the other really quite easily when we know ourselves.
It's those things that sound the same on the surface, but they're actually worlds apart. You know, like those kinds of words, there and there, where there and belongs to yourself. You know, it's their meanings and what we're pointing to are worlds apart, but in first hearing they can sound the same. And like you said, our topic, know thyself. It's seamlessly moving into there, isn't it? It is being, you know, checking your grammar, what is it that we're pointing to, what is it that we're saying, because this definitely, I know, again, we talk a lot about being human and our spiritual nature and that beautiful place of balance, and this to me is what we're pointing to when we talk about relationships in this way. What I see with me and my partner is, when we have these little tiffs, these little fallouts, he takes one stance, I take the other, and we're at odds with each other. And if one of us moves into this place of balance and starts to come back from love, then everything rights itself. How do I not ruin a relationship? I move into coming from love. I move into what is absolutely best for me. And that is knowing myself. It's like, how do I not ruin a relationship? I know myself.
I think that's it, isn't it? And I think let's move into the topic, because that's the answer to that question. Know yourself. Because when you know yourself, and you know, I'm going to talk a bit more about what that even means in a minute, but when you know yourself, you turn up from who you truly are, and that can only be a good thing for any relationship you're in.
Absolutely.
And it's like, so the knowing yourself, for me, like there was something I read recently, I think it was a poem or something you shared, Deb, and I can't remember, I might get the fruits wrong, so forgive me, but something like a plum and a banana or something, was it? Do you know the one I mean, where it's like, if you're a plum but you want to be a banana? You remember?
I can't remember. I don't know if it is but I'll find the copy of the poem and put it.
Let's put it and share it, because it's that, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I mean, the poem itself is essentially saying, if you're a plum and you try to be a banana, you're not going to be a very good banana, because you're meant to be a plum. And every banana that is a banana is going to be a great banana in comparison to your attempt at being a banana when you're meant to be a plum. And that's it, isn't it? It's like, if I turn up trying to be a banana when I'm a plum, I'm doing nobody any favors. Me, the person who wants to eat a banana and gets a plum, and it's seeing that, isn't it? That's the knowing myself.
Yeah.
That's knowing that I'm a plum, and then I get to be the best plum that there is. And it's not even, then it's non-comparable. You can't compare a banana and a plum.
No.
They're not on the same, they're just two entirely different things. And that's the same for us. It's like, I get to be Bec. Apart from today when it says Deborah Simmons at the bottom of my but I get to turn up and be Bec. And the more that I know who Bec is, in all different, on all different levels. Bec is someone who likes to go away on holiday with her partner for a couple of days, hence why I'm in his house at the moment. Bec is someone who likes to sometimes sit next to Deb and do some office work.
Sometimes.
yeah. Apart from when I'm here. And then it's like, Bec is also the entire essence of the universe. And that's true too. And the more that I don't know, there's something for me around getting quiet and getting honest. And like, I can be really, really honest with myself, and it can look scary sometimes if there's something kind of going on for me, and I think, just be honest with yourself. Is this, who you want to be, how you want to turn up? It can look scary to be honest about that, because it can feel like, if I'm honest and I have to be something different or do something different, then that's going to be difficult or challenging, or make up whatever story you like there. But the more that I know who I am on both levels, that human and spiritual you were talking about, the easier it actually is. It's actually harder to not be who I am.
We only find it easy to not be who we are because we've practiced it for so long.
Yeah.
It's not natural. It's become normal sometimes.
Yeah.
And actually getting back to what's natural for us, it turns out to be much easier. There might be a transition period when this has been normal. And go back to that poem. The point of that poem is saying, we often try and change ourselves. We're this perfect plum or whatever it is we are. And we try and change ourselves because we think that being a perfect plum, some people might not like us. There'll be people who won't like plums. And it's like, but if you change yourself into a banana, there's going to be people who don't like bananas, and you're even going to be a second-rate banana anyway.
Yeah.
And it is knowing that no matter what we do in life, no matter how we show up, some people are going to like us and some people aren't. And that to me is why it is so useful just to know who I am and show up as me, and that be the perfect, because being me is actually way easier than trying to be something I am not to please other people. And that is a total misunderstanding, because once we realize who we are and realize who other people are, we see it's not necessary to do that. It's not necessary to try and be something, because the reason that I tried to be something different, the reason that I turned into the people pleaser extraordinaire, was because I was literally terrified that people wouldn't like me. And I felt that I felt that I lacked something, and I needed other people to like me. And this, these two things that we're talking about, how do I not ruin a relationship, and the topic, just they literally circle around each other beautifully.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I thought I needed to be something else so people would like me, I ruined relationships because I tried to be something so people would like me, and then I would be really annoyed with them when they wouldn't, and feel that they owed me being a certain way. And it just was a whole mess. And untangling all that mess and realizing that other people should be who they are. And to me, a relationship, for two people in a relationship, absolutely it is come together to bring out the best in each other, to have a lot of fun and grow together and be each other's champion, be each other's, the thing that holds them up and encourages them when they want to do something, and your encouragement when there's something that means something to you. And when we come together in that way, it absolutely starts with knowing ourselves and knowing that we are whole and complete already. It's such a beautiful place to have a relationship from.
Yeah, that was interestingly, that was the thing as you were talking there, was like the two things that I know about myself that, if I only had 2 minutes to get something really key across to you, it would be that you are innately okay. Innately, you are whole and complete. There is nothing about you that's broken or damaged or could ever be broken or damaged. And then we create our realities via the thinking we're having in the moment. And that thinking can tell us that we are not whole and complete, that we are not okay. And it doesn't, no matter how much that thinking looks real and true and looks like that's what's happening, that innate okayness can't go anywhere, no matter how much that story says otherwise. And as long as I know those two things, I come back to that place of balance. I come back to knowing myself. Those things just come up in my mind really regularly. Oh, you think you're not okay here, but remember that's thought playing its game, and you actually are. Because to kind of go back to what you were saying earlier, Deb, there are going to be people in this world that don't like you. I feel like with the amount of people on the planet, it's extremely unlikely, that you're going to be someone that every single person likes.
And do you like every single person?
I haven't met every single person, and I don't, there's people I've met in the small number, the small percentage I've actually met. No, because, why would we? There's going to be people that aren't who we like. That's cool and that's fair. But I think kind of then it begs the question, well, if people don't like me, that's a problem. What do I do? And it's seeing that isn't a problem. It's seeing that the problem's only there because you think it is. You've had a thought that says it is. And then you're innately okay, whether they like you or don't. And those are the only things we ever need to know, really.
And then interestingly, I feel as we start to see that, we begin to like more and more people, and more people like us. And I'm interested to kind of see the day when I love everybody and everybody loves me.
Yeah, it just becomes a really fun side effect, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It becomes I'm okay no matter whether you like me or not. Oh, it turns out I like you more. Oh, so you probably like me more. The more that I like me, the more that I like other people, the more that it kind of just grows and grows, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Oh.
Yeah. So
yes, that was our topic for today. And our recommended resource today is to go and watch the video that Russell Brand made about this. How do I not ruin a relationship? And I will pop the link to that somewhere. I will share that because he did quite a good job of it as well. I feel,
almost as good as us.
Almost as good. Good try, Russell. Good try. Yeah, it's a great video, and he points to the same things that we're pointing to, but he says it in different words. And I think, as always with this conversation, what I love about this conversation is when we are in this, different things, when we hear different things from different people, different things get sparked, don't they?
Yeah.
I know when we chat like this, different things as you're talking, I'm hearing things inside of me and stuff like that. So it's a great way to be. So and so next week. Can you remember either of them, Bec? I'm lucky.
Yeah, Deb's got it on the board behind her. I'm going from memory. I can remember our topic. Our topic next week is other people.
Yeah, cool. That's exactly right. Yes, we're going to be talking about other people next week, which I feel will follow on nicely from what we've been talking about today.
Certainly.
And our question next week is, how do I stop other people triggering me? Because I don't know about you, like I was talking about earlier with my partner, just sometimes some people, it just feels like there's bing and I'm gone. So
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So we would love you to join us for that next week. As always, we are about in all sorts of places before that. If I don't know where you're watching this, but if you're not in our Facebook group, we would love to have you there. If If you're not on our mailing list, we would love you to join our mailing list, because Bec and I are always up to all sorts, and we love being of service, we love helping, we love being in this conversation, and we would love you to join us.
Yes, so we'll catch you somewhere soon, hopefully.
We will indeed. Take care and have a great week. Bye.
Bye.